Joining me now is EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. Lee, I haven't seen you since your appointment. Congratulations on that. The president says the people wanted it. They do want it, and they're seeing in real time the discoveries made by the Doge Group coming up with all sorts of things. I haven't heard one Democrat say that any of the completely wasteful spending that's been exposed is a good thing. Have you?
I haven't, and it's really exposing those members of Congress who have a problem with cutting out fraud and waste and abuse inside of our government. We should have all of Congress cheering on an effort to make sure that the federal government is being a good steward of the tax dollars. I know the American public from all across this country, they're cheering on the federal government and saying, gosh, it's been too long. I've been waiting years for someone to step up like this. You know, and that's why one of the reasons why they elected President Trump. He said he was going to do this. He's delivering on his promise.
And AID is a perfect place to start because, again, good intentions maybe when some of these programs were started, but it's just become so so tied into the morass of bureaucracy. Mike Waltz, the new national security advisor, spoke about that on Sunday. Play the tape.
You found significant things.
Well, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars of money that's going to places where it shouldn't be going, where if I read a list, you'd say this is ridiculous, and you've read the same lists, and there are many that you haven't even seen. It's crazy. It's a big scam. Now, there's some good money, and we can do that through any one of a number. I think I'd rather give it to Marco Rubio over at the State Department. Let him take care of the few good ones. So I don't know if it's kickbacks or what's going on, but the people, look, I ran on this, and the people want me to find it. And I've had a great help with Elon Musk, who's been terrific.
All right. Well, that obviously wasn't Mike Waltz. That was the SOT we played before. The point that Mike Waltz was making is we're only getting virtually 10 cents on every dollar spent is going to the project and to the people that it was announced it was going to. When I don't know about you, but when I give money to a charity, the first thing I look at is how much is spent by that charity on administrative costs, on overhead. If it's over 10%, I say no doing. In this case, it's like 90% is going to overhead. I mean, it just shows you how completely horribly these programs are run by AID.
Right, and what we're seeing now is a line-by-line accounting. And not only is that important to make sure that funds in the past and currently are going out the right way, but it also resets the path forward. That there's going to be this level of accountability so that when grants are being distributed, that there's an expectation that there's going to be this line-by-line accounting. This should be the new normal. We saw inside of the EPA, we did our own research, and there was a story that came out on it towards the end of last week in the Free Beacon. A Canadian electric vehicle manufacturer declares bankruptcy after receiving $160 million from the EPA. Well, guess what? They still haven't given out $95 million worth of those school buses to 55 school districts. We're going to do that line-by-line accounting, too.
All right. Finally, I just want to ask you about your job at EPA and how much of the regulations that are so costly for businesses in America are going to be stripped away by you. These regulations that very often just make life difficult, don't do anything for the environment. Quickly.
David, we have our core mission of protecting human health and the environment, but we have to do so cognizant that the American public spoke and they have economic concerns that they want all of government to address. So that means making the United States the AI capital of the world, permitting reform, bringing back American auto jobs, and so much more, especially unleashing energy dominance. These are all priorities of the American people. Priorities of President Trump, so they are priorities of mine and the EPA.
All right. Lee Zeldin, good to see you, my friend. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in.